I am a fan of many things, and one of those many things is the medium of professional wrestling. I've been a consistent fan of wrestling for about 12 years of my life now, and it's been pretty turbulent to say the least. If you're around my age, that's 22 years old, you've most likely been a fan of wrestling during the mid 2000s, which is when WWE's ruthless aggression era was in full swing. You more than likely grew up on guys like Cena, Batista, Triple H, Rey Mysterio, Orton, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, the list goes on and on. I wasn't one of those kids. My first experience with wrestling was an Eddie vs. Rey match on SmackDown in early 2005, and then I wouldn't watch wrestling again until August of 2009. I didn't get to witness the legacies of John Cena and Batista form before my very eyes. I had the Shield, and I loved those boys, but none of them ever connected with me on a level that felt almost visceral? I love Dean Ambrose to death. I get extremely nostalgic for his 2015-2016 years, and I love him to death as Jon Moxley right now. The only other wrestler I can think of that I watched grow into their own from day one and had that same visceral connection for was Becky Lynch. I was damn near a Becky Lynch stan at some point a few years back. When she won at Mania 35, I genuinely thought to myself that I would never feel a connection to a single wrestler like this ever again. That none of them would ever reach the love that I had for Becky. And that was the case until late 2019, when a vignette of a man beating the shit out of some randoms on the roof of a car parking lot was aired on AEW's All Out pay-per-view event. The man's name? I remember the reactions to the Wardlow vignette well. A mix of optimism and general confusion was shared among fans, and I get it. Looking back at the footage now, it's pretty weird. Like, why are Lee Johnson and Alan Angels picking a fight with this dude? And why is Anna Jay stripping this man down? And what the hell is up with this scar on his shoulder? Whatever the plan was for Wardlow, it was certainly going to be interesting. And many people thought so as well. I myself found the vignette incredibly hilarious at the time, and decided to start memeing about Wardlow being this great wrestler, as if he was on the same level as Prime Goldberg and Steve Austin. I was ready to become a full-on Wardlow meme account based on nothing but this weird vignette that they aired on him. And then he debuted. Wardlow's debut turned my meme fandom into a legitimate one. As he was attacking Cody, I looked at MJF, then I looked at Wardlow, and then I looked back to MJF.
Look at your man, now back to me. Now back at your man, now back to me.
And then it dawned on me, Wardlow is the next generation's Batista. Now mind you, I didn't conjure up this comparison from out of nowhere. Thanks to the WWE Network, I had the pleasure of going back and watching damn near every piece of old WWE media I did not get to experience. And one of these things was the Batista Evolution storyline. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that feud because a million people have already sung its praises enough, but the basic gist of it is the big man of the group is rebelling against the chicken shit head leader of the group, who knows that if the big man breaks away from him, he will be unstoppable. It's a pretty simple story, and it's also one of the best when it's told well, and they have told this MJF Wardlow storyline really well, because that man is over like Rover these days. The support for him feels, as I said before, visceral. There's something about rebelling against your boss that people will always gravitate towards, and in times like these, Wardlow's character is even more relatable, despite feeling like someone with the potential to be larger than life. He's not just over because he's fighting MJF. Wardlow is popular because he's essentially the complete package in professional wrestling. Great look, obviously, pretty good talker, great gimmick with the Powerbomb Symphony that allows the fans to be a part of his War Machine persona. He's also a pretty good wrestler as well. Now, he's not going to give you any Kenny Omega level 5-star classics, but he is going to give you some hard-hitting matches with great athleticism for a guy of his size. I can only imagine the kind of matches he's going to have with the likes of Keith Lee and Will Hobbs.
Big meaty man slapping meat. That's what I want.
His character work is also stellar. I think what makes Wardlow so interesting, at least to me, is the way that he's able to sell the stories through facial expressions alone. He's obviously not a bad talker, but the way Wardlow can make you feel things by just looking at his face reminds me of how great Sami Zayn was at this when he came to NXT way back in 2013. This adds a nice layer of storytelling to Wardlow's journey in AEW that you can easily miss if you're not paying attention. He's got body language down to a science with the way he's able to use it so well. Wardlow is not just a big meaty man who turns as red as Hellboy when he's wreaking havoc and destruction. He's a smart man who moves with purpose instead of just pure blinding rage. The man has a family to provide for, which adds a human element to the man who refers to himself with names such as the War Machine and Mr. Mayhem. We want to cheer for the man who powerbombs the shit out of people and ragdoll security like the big brother play fighting with his much smaller siblings because he's doing it all for his mom. Fans get to live vicariously through Wardlow, and his popularity is growing every week. For me, it feels like I'm watching late 2018 Becky all over again. As a day one Wardlow fan, it's been really fun to watch this man grow before our very eyes. Watching other fans start to see the vision that some of us saw early on has been an incredibly rewarding experience. AEW has done a fantastic job using Wardlow to the best of his abilities, and Wardlow himself has committed to getting the most out of his TV time and getting better in his overall abilities. This is Wardlow's world, and we're all just living in it. That's why I think Wardlow is the next big thing in professional wrestling.
So as of right now, I am letting everyone know All Elite Wrestling is officially Wardlow's world.
I'll keep this video shout out wrestling related. The Social Suplex Podcast Network has a bunch of really good wrestling podcasts that cover a bunch of different promotions from the likes of WWE, AEW, New Japan, Stardom, etc. My personal favorite is One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich and James. These dudes are funny, and I've gotten a lot of insight to form my own opinions about what goes on in the world of wrestling over the years from these two. So yeah, check out the Social Suplex Podcast Network wherever you get your podcasts from, or right here on YouTube. That's all I got for now, so peace.